Well, hello, Quest. Coming to you from quarantine headquarters here in Ellisville. So we're just hunkered down here trying to be as prudently careful for everyone's sake as we possibly can. So it looks like it'll be another 10 days or so. We're probably locked in here, but we'll make the best of it, okay? But as a result of having been exposed personally without knowing it, that we also then were around some other people last Sunday, and so we felt like it was prudent and important that we would not have a service on site this coming Sunday, the 6th of December, but we would just put one out online. So we anticipate being back on the 13th no matter what. So this is just a one-week hiccup. Sometimes we live life in 2 steps forward, 1 step back, trying to be prudently careful with things. So just a reminder of that. Also, a reminder of the Advent conspiracy. It's the main thing I want to talk about today. We as a church have done this every week, or every year, I'm sorry, since we became a church. And we usually have a project that we're trying to accomplish, or a set of projects that help people around the world who have real significant needs, that they can't meet those needs by themselves. And so this year we have 4 projects. 3 of them are in Haiti. One is rebuilding a water fountain for the water system that Wish has for the city of Ansagale, which is now almost 50,000 people. And they depend on this water system and these fountains to go to get somewhat fresh water. And so to rebuild those, because they were falling apart, we want to help rebuild one of those. That'll be $10,000. We also have another thing. There's a freezer that they freeze gallon sections of water, bags of water, so people can help use it as almost a refrigerator, if you will, in their homes, where they might have a cooler and try to keep some food fresh. Those have been working for a long time, and they're starting to break down. We want to help rebuild one of those, and so that'll be about a $5,000 project. We also then have the feeding project in Haiti. There's a church down in the poorest part of town that feeds kids, somewhere around 100 kids every day, Monday through Friday, and we can, for $1,100, feed those kids for a month. And so we selected 4 months that we would like to feed those kids. So that's $4,400. And then there's also a training center that needs to be built in Lebanon. So that's not part of Wish and not a part of Haiti. It's a part of another ministry that we want to help rebuild or build a training center, because the Middle East is absolutely turned upside down right now. And so we want to help train people, because there are all sorts of immigrants all over the place searching for answers to life. And this training center will help train people to reach more and more people, especially Muslims in the Middle East. So we're excited about those. Altogether, that adds up to about $25,000. So if that's what the Lord has us give, great. If not, then we'll give whatever we bring in, and we'll do it in a particular order of doing that. Now, Advent conspiracy, the spirit behind it is that we might give more and spend less. We live in a really materialistic world, and it's easy to get sucked into that. But when we look around the world at all the different needs, we say, wow, how could we be involved? How could we maybe spend a little less, give a little more to these projects? Advent is not a biblical term. It's Adventus is really a Latin term, and the church came up with it somewhere along the way. We know that it was practicing Advent by about 480 AD. That the church began to say, let's focus on preparing our hearts for some unique event. And usually it's the coming of Christ the first time. That'd be Christmas. Another one, there's Advent, or preparing the way, is for the second coming of Christ, which is still going to happen. And there's a third Advent that we celebrate, and that is the coming of Christ into each one of our hearts in our lives and preparing room for Him. And so in this process of Advent, we want to prepare for Christmas, for Christ's coming. We want to prepare for Him coming the second time. but also prepare for him to be in our own hearts. And one thing I'd probably suggest to you, which is a friend of mine suggested to me, was that we would read the book of Luke as we prepare for Christmas. Luke, the book, has 24 chapters. So if you read one chapter a day, starting on the 1st, which was 2 days ago, and you can catch up, to read one chapter of Luke, and by the time Christmas Eve comes, you will have finished the entire book of Luke, the life of Christ. It could be a really good way of preparing yourself. Traditionally, people have fasted, preparing all the way through the Advent season, and people did it maybe even 3 days a week. That kind of has fallen by the wayside, but it's in an effort to prepare your own heart. So you don't fast because it's a nice religious thing to do. You fast because it helps you focus. When you sense this great need for food, you're reminded of your great need for God. And so it's a practice that you might even consider. But also, as you prepare yourself, reading the scriptures, maybe the Gospel of Luke, the 24 days of December before Christmas comes, might be a good idea. So you're going to hear more about each of these projects for Advent Conspiracy coming up, but we just want to encourage you to get involved, to commit yourself, to invest yourself in these projects, because they make a huge difference to people who have very little resources. Couldn't do it for themselves. All right. Hey, you guys, thanks for joining us for Touch Base Thursday. We'll be looking forward to seeing you soon. All right. Take care. Love you. See ya.